748 West Sharon Avenue, First Christ Church. The St. Gabriel Garage started as the temporary home of Christ Church around 1865. In 1868 it was sold to St. Gabriel's Church to be used as a school when the current stone Christ Church was built. Today it is the garage with the arched windows behind the rectory at St. Gabriel's. '87 West Sharon Avenue, the Dittmeyer House. This house originally sat on the Lakeman Farm, now Glenview Golf Course. When Lakeman Farm caretaker Mordecai Dittmeyer retired, the house was given to him, and he had it moved to its present location on Sharon Avenue. '110 Oak Avenue, the Withenberry House. The first Russell Withenberry had this house moved a short distance southeast to its present location. After the move, the Oak Avenue driveway was put in. The drive had been from 720 Ivy Avenue. 237 West Sharon Avenue, St. Edmund's Chapel. This chapel was built in 1922 by 24 boys living at the St. Edmund's Home for Boys at 10800 Chester Road. The lumber came from the former Sharonville Auto Speedway. The boys learned building and wood carving while the chapel was being built. The original pews can be seen in the chapel at its new location on the Harry Whiting Brown Community Center grounds. The chapel was moved in 2 sections in 1996. '740 Woodbine Avenue, the Dudley Stewart House. In the summer of 1926, this house was moved from 800 Ivy Avenue. The buyers, Ida and Dudley Stewart, were not obliged to pay for it until it stood safely on its foundation at the new location. Mr. Stanley Matthews was the moving contractor, and trees became his problem. A few trees were cut down to facilitate the move, but when Mr. Matthews suggested cutting down a great ancient elm, the townfolk went up in arms. For months the house stood on supports at the bottom of Gunny Hill at Woodbine Avenue, blocking traffic. While the problem was being addressed, the Glendale Marshal, Ed Megger, spent his nights in the house to keep it from being vandalized. Finally, a tree expert tied up a big branch. The house was laboriously turned sideways and then moved to its new location. The project was completed on February 2nd, 1927. '750 Woodbine Avenue, the Dr. Alfred Shepard Barn. This house had been a barn owned by Dr. Alfred Shepard at 100 East Fountain Avenue. It had been converted into a house with 4 small rooms and a small detached garage. After it was moved, a property survey showed that the kitchen was not on the property, a problem since resolved. The larger living room and attached garage were added later. In 1957, the house experienced a dreadful fire. '785 Ivy Avenue, the Roland Richardson House. This house, one of the earliest cottages erected in the village, was moved from up the hill near Fountain Avenue. At its original location, it had a front walk to Ivy Avenue. Before being moved, this house was vacant for some 20 years, and there were stories of tramps living there, fires, and general deterioration. James Richardson and Annis Withenberry were married in 1896 and moved into the house in its present location. Since then, 3 generations of Richardsons were born in the house: James Richardson, Roland and Ted Richardson, Fifi Surface, Betsy Curlin, and Emily Boughton. '810 Woodbine Avenue, the Lackman Estate Carriage House. This house, part of the Lackman Estate of Lackman Brewery fame, was moved from Ivy Avenue, down the hill and through an open lot at 170 Magnolia Avenue, to its present location on Woodbine. (865) Congress Avenue, the Lyceum Squash Court. This building was originally on the grounds of the Judge Stanley Matthews House at 125 East Fountain. From there it was moved to 820 Ivy Avenue and then to the Lyceum. (940) Forest Avenue, First Episcopalian Rectory. This house was built in 1875 at a cost of $4,500 on the site of the current stone rectory next to the Christ Church. In 1903, plans were made to replace the rectory, and so this building was moved one block to the other side of the street. During a 1990 restoration, a fire caused extensive damage, but the contractor was able to restore the building to its original look. 10845 Chester Road, the Jackson House. This house originally stood on the estate of Judge Stanley Matthews at 125 Fountain Avenue. Bill Little, former Glendale police chief, couldn't find a place to live in the village, so Tom Carruthers offered this house. Charles Sawyer, Jr. gave the Littles a lot at the sharp turn on 10845 Chester Road, across from St. Edmunds.